Hello everyone, Eric Watson here. Welcome to Chat for the Lost Plane, our weekly live stream post-session discussion where we talk about what just happened during D&D. This is the chat for session 32, the final chat for the Lost Plane. We will not be doing one after the epilogue and recap session.
What will we talk about?
Because that whole thing is going to be the chat, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So obviously if you haven't watched session 32, please go do that now because there will be spoilers. Big spoiler being that was the finale. DM Chris is here.
Hello.
Player Raymond.
Hello.
How does it feel to run a level 20 boss fight?
It feels like there's very little I could have thrown at you that would have been extremely difficult. It's cool. It's cool to be able to have like just fucking crazy high level abilities and just throw them out there. It's also weird that you guys have an answer for every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, half the high-level ability, she never even got her Hellfire Bolt off. Well, she rolled once. That's not... We can talk about that also.
A lot of it just comes down to the dice. And yeah, every time the Hellfire Bolt missed, and for some reason, we made a lot of saves.
Yes.
Like, just the con saves with the Finger of Death, and
yes,
just, a lot of saves we ended up making. Saves a lot of us shouldn't have made. I think I made that save one time, like a +2.
Yep. And she crit failed her main, like, damage attack. What does it do?
At the Hellfire Bolt?
The Hellfire Bolt.
Did she ever hit with that?
Nope.
Wow.
I can't remember what. Where is it at?
I like that we had two bosses. I think they both had legendary actions.
Yes.
Which good luck trying to keep up with that, but it seemed like you did a pretty good job of it.
It kind of meant that, like, almost after everybody's turn, I could go somebody somebody does something.
Do you actually keep track of that, or do you just say, like, this person hasn't done something in a while?
The first round, I kept track of it. I have a feeling after the second round or not. I have a feeling that after the second round, Ramael started getting more legendary actions than he actually had.
Yeah, because he was more involved, and you're like, all right, now he does something, and you want to, like, react to everything.
Because his Searing Burst fire thing around him is 2 legendary actions. They're only supposed to have 3.
Right.
And him swinging a sword is 1. The Searing Burst is 2. So that should be it. But I feel like because he was surrounded the entire time, I was like, he's swinging a sword around.
Fools, you're attacking the tank.
That's right.
Stuck to him.
And as you guys noticed, like, they had very different, like, what do you call it? Save expertise.
Yeah.
All of his physical attributes were like +14, +15. All of her mental attributes were +14, +15.
That's interesting.
So I think you guys caught them off guard a couple times with Ramael with a wisdom save or with her with a dex save.
It's interesting.
What didn't come into play too much was their legendary resistances, because you guys, there was rarely anything that was like really like, okay, I need to save my character against this.
I think I think that might be D&D meta knowledge, because at this point we kind of assume any big boss is probably going to have legendary resistance. Maybe like the first time we fight somebody and we're not sure if they're a big boss, we're like, and then the DM pulls it out. Which only the biggest of the big bosses usually have legendary resistance.
Right, yes.
But obviously these ones would, so I think we're not going to try to like polymorph them or do something like weird, so you're just going to negate that.
Yep.
I was going to say, usually all these fights you add minions to them. And you didn't do that here, but you had 2 bosses with 2 of them have legendary actions and resistances and all that, so that made it a little interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
And you pre-buffed one of them, which I thought I saw that shit. I was like, 9th level pre-buff, holy shit.
That's right. So yeah, that was sort of a, like, I knew how tough you guys were gonna be. I knew how fucking strong you were gonna come in the gates and I was like, all right. Foresight's an awesome spell, but she would have to like cast it before combat starts. Like, it would be kind of a waste of her turn to cast it. So like, all right, if they get to fucking cast spells before the combat, so does my spell.
Yeah, absolutely. I had no problem.
And that really did make him way more of a problematic character for you guys. You having disadvantage. You guys were constantly doing things to counteract it.
Yeah.
But you guys were having to constantly do things to counteract it. It was like a constant, like, all right, now I'm using my anti-magic field. Now I'm using my Fey Fly. Now I'm using flanking.
I don't think anybody tried to dispel it. It's just Tim had the anti-magic field, but and went after Irathon.
I'm not sure what dispel magic, how that works with high-level spells. I'd have to look that up.
That's a good question. Does that involve like maybe a high spell slot or something?
Maybe. Yeah. But yes, so that was the idea, is that Yeah, because there's two of them and they both have legendary actions. They can kind of constantly be going. And that kind of, like you said, that kind of takes the place of like minions in terms of the action economy.
Mm.
And also, there was environmental hazards throughout.
Yeah,
the other
which
idea with this area.
Random Equinox says, what was the thought process behind choosing the nature of the different planes that the combatants visited? Which, by the way, you need to show everybody in chat the ones we didn't use. Chris had like 6 of these planned, by the way. We only went through like 3. He just showed us after we shut off the stream.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 7. And you guys were always going to land on the 7th one. The 7th one was always going to be where it ends. Like everything's breaking apart. That was the void
one, yeah.
Yeah, that was the void, yes. The rest of them, once again, this is the way I work, folks. I find the art first, and then I work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'll be honest with you, it's hard to find extra planar battle maps. It's hard to find like a plane of fire or a Inferno help, whatever, all those type of like just generic battle maps of those like astral planes. Find an astral plane battle map. It's difficult to do.
Yeah.
So to some degree, it was me looking through maps and like, all right, that one looks kind of like high fantasy, high fantastical. So that could be a different plane of existence. So yeah, we'll step through them, and once again, and
it felt like I mentioned Final Fantasy earlier in the actual show, but it felt like literally like a JRPG final fight where like the screen at one point shifts to like the classic like stars moving through, and you're just like, I don't know what's happening. I'm in space, fucking fight the boss.
That's exactly what the ending was. I was thinking at the ending.
Just
I
the
was
background shifting.
Now they're in space. They're literally like killing like demigods.
Yeah.
Like, this is appropriate for like that.
It's opera music playing.
Yeah.
The only thing you didn't do was like a second form for the bosses, which I'm glad you didn't because I didn't have time for that shit.
So I'll step through them all. The music's gonna play because I have it autoplay. First one was the Inferno. I couldn't find any just like, Avernus maps that were not like large maps. So this is just a generic like lava beach.
Yeah.
But the idea with this one was just, you guys take heat damage. Nobody tried to heal here, but healing wasn't gonna work in this place.
Oh, interesting. Weirdly enough, I don't know if we just weren't taking as much damage as I thought we would, but we weren't actually having to heal, I don't think, ever.
So much fucking life at 20.
Yeah, we do.
I
mean, I took literally 2/3 of my health in that first round, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna die in this combat. And then I don't think you ever hit me again. It was bizarre. You tried to, like, with like Finger of Death and some other stuff, but
yes,
I never took. I went down to 50 hit points. Like in the first round, and then I like never went lower from there. And then everybody else started taking a lot of damage. I think Gillian actually got lower than I did, judging by her health bar.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, it was weird. We just kind of never. You did a good job of spreading the damage around. You weren't like downing anybody.
Damage around a little bit, especially with Ramael, who had 3 people on him, and he was just sort of. I was having him just attack everyone in turn. Because he has a plus 15 to hit, he could probably hit everybody in turn. So I was just having him just take turns, just hitting everybody.
And then we were just making all the saves against Irathon.
Yep. Second one was the Beholder God. This is probably
that was a cool map
because starting every one of your rounds with a Beholder Ray hits you is just pretty great.
Yes. Which, man, after Tomb, like I was like, oh shit, all these rays could be nasty business.
Yep.
That was the same thing.
Tim's was just like Death Ray. Oh nope.
Oh yeah, I got that.
Fucking anti-magic field.
That thing is crazy. That's such a game. Somebody in the chat said that was a game-breaking ability.
Yes.
It's also a pain in the ass because literally it turns off magic items. But like, are we supposed to go in there and like, oh shit, I gotta minus my one that my magic item, like all like it's especially level 20, like you got so much magic shit to have all of that turn off. Like this is a mechanical pain in the ass.
Yep, exactly. So that was that one. I don't think that one ended up doing too bad to you guys, like because the death ray didn't work.
So are they all there a full round? All the maps?
They were supposed to be.
Because I swear some of them I never got affected. Like I don't think I ever got affected by the Twisted Caverns thing.
I changed it almost immediately because I
realized
I was looking at the time. I was looking at the time going like, oh shit, they're taking like half an hour in each round of combat. I got to speed this shit up.
Okay.
So I started doing like every 3 or 4 rounds it would switch.
I was like, did I get Beholder Raid? I don't think I got that one.
I don't think you got that one. No.
Okay.
So the ones I skipped. So after Beholder Ray, this is when the Beholder Ray is Beholder God is when I realized that we were not gonna make it through half my stuff.
Yeah.
So I started skipping content. After Beholder Ray was going to be Celestial Realm,
Yeah.
where radiant damage does like double or whatever.
Oh, man.
Healing does double, and everybody takes radiant damage at the start of the turns. Just like they took fire damage at the start of the turns in the Inferno.
I like that they weren't just aesthetic, that you actually had like ongoing effects for each
yes.
realm.
Yeah. We didn't get to that one because I wanted to like skip to the ones I really loved. I just loved my Twisted Cavern list, so the one after Celestial Realm was to be
that bridge
Limbo.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And in Limbo, it's just chaos. So, that was just it. You guys were rolling on the Twisted Cavern shit.
Yeah.
That
Which
one
I remember
also
you telling
didn't-
me there's some nasty ones on there, and we never rolled the nasty
None of
ones.
them came up. None of them
It's
came
like
up.
the objects fly towards you, or you glow.
You glow. It was so like, oh man.
Yeah, you had something that was like a carbon copy of you is created and tries to
That's-
kill you or something.
Out of all like 32 of them, that is literally the worst one.
Mhm.
Where a carbon copy of you is generated standing right next to you, and their only goal is to kill their original.
That's insane. Or you
But that
glow
one
in the
never-
dark.
Yep. Or you glow in the dark. That's right. So yeah, and once again, I was intending each of these to be like a full round,
Yeah.
so everybody gets the effects once. But because we were, taking
Wait.
combat takes time.
I'm going to take this into consideration in terms of all those sessions where we level up. We're going to get through a lot less because we have fun
Yes,
with it. We always
takes-
talk about our abilities and things, but that takes like a solid like 30, 40 some minutes to go through and go through the level up process. So you end up doing a lot less.
That's
We didn't
right.
start the actual like
That's true. We
thing
started a little
until
late. Today.
an hour. It took an hour. No, it
Yeah.
took
Really?
Until
Well,
we actually started combat.
combat started around 10:30.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm.
Yeah, we started. Yeah, we were always starting late, but we started probably 15 minutes late, and then yeah, I think leveling up
Talk
took a
about
while, and then we did that little
leveling.
social stuff where we talked and you get that really cool bit where we're walking through the caves and you're seeing all the different planes and stuff. That was all really neat, and you did the voice, the like villain monologue as we're going up. I like that too.
Villain's always got a monologue. So.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah. After Limbo was the Death Swamp, which we didn't do. That one was just you guys were gonna take necrotic damage. It was 4 times movement to move around in this place. It was just a sludgy. This is probably my least favorite of all of them, but
I mean,
it was just there.
the only thing is like once you're. It would have been interesting if people are shuffled, or which I don't know how you would do that. If people were actually shuffled around more. But instead, everybody's just teleported in the same situation. So I feel like the
Right.
movement rules, like everybody's just still attacking Ramael in the corner.
That's-
so a
that-
lot of the stuff doesn't really come into play.
Yeah, it honestly, and it probably wouldn't have, which is probably a little bit of the reason why I skipped this one. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's not that interesting. They take damage at the beginning of each of the turns. They can't move very well.
It's cool looking though.
Then the other one I skipped was the Cthulhu Ocean, which this was literally gonna be you can't breathe, like you're underwater. You form underwater.
This one's
And-
it's a black screen to me. I don't
Oh,
know if it's not loading yet or what, but
maybe I do. I have dynamic lighting on. Hold on. There you go. There you go. So you're underwater but you're in like Cthulhu, space. So it's
Okay.
like rising up towards you. So you're gonna have to make, wisdom saving throws to not go into permanent.
I was
fear
thinking
mode.
one of them would be in water, because as soon as the hell one is like, oh, and you did this, it was a squishing noise. I thought I was like, oh, we're gonna be underwater, and
Oh,
we have to
yeah.
start taking like
Yeah.
suffocation underwater rules now.
Yep. Which was gonna be part of this one, but I, once again, just skipped it for time. And then the last one,
There's
which,
so many. Holy crap.
yep, and the last one, which you guys did get to, was basically exactly what you described, Eric. The final boss of the
Yeah, like just in
JRPG.
fucking space, like beating up gods.
Yeah.
It's cool looking. I like that Gillian grabbed animated meteors at the end and just crushed him.
That's amazing.
That
I
was
love that as
cool.
an ending. I was like, all right, that's a great way to cap off the fight.
Yeah.
And the rule, I did have rules for this because I know the question was like, what's going on with it? What are the
Yeah,
rules?
we were. I mean, it was late, so we were all kind of getting fuzzy. But we were all like, "Wait,
Yeah.
abstract? How does this work? How do we move?"
You were still rolling 2 hit, and I think that's about it. The only thing that you were rolling was 2 hit. Damage dice, saving throws. If you guys had tried like skill checks, they were all just auto successes.
like as if we had rolled 20.
I'm sorry, as if you'd roll 20. Yes.
Or max, and damage is always just maximum dice.
And damage was always max. Yep.
Okay. I was confused on that until like the third time it happened, and until
Right.
Raymond actually hit with that sneak attack, and he was like, "How much does 10d6?" I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
We're just
Yes.
dealing max damage."
You're dealing max damage.
Now, is that a
Yep.
funny way of saying like, okay, this is the final map, we need to wrap this shit up? Everybody's just accelerated to the extreme.
I have it written down, so it wasn't like a spur of the moment, but to some degree, yes. To some degree, it was like,
It's a sudden
All right.
death.
this is sudden death. Yes, exactly. Like, all right. You guys have been through all these different planes of existence. Now you're in like pure potential space. So now just everything is maximized. If you guys had tried to heal, it would have been max healing.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you try to do. And then I think I forgot to mention that I ended up scrapping for most of them for time. Except for this one, because I thought it was just good to do. Was that I had a turn 10 thing on each plane too. In the Cthulhu one, on
like a
turn 10,
trap type thing.
tentacles were going to come up and try to drag you all downward.
Yeah.
In the chaos space, on turn 10, asteroids were going to fly by and hit you, which I did do that
You
one.
mean like initiative? The initiative?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I had some of those, but for most of them, I ended up not doing them just because I was like, okay, we got to actually move faster than this. I gotta get through this combat session. But I kept the chaos one just because I don't know, I liked it.
Yeah. Giant meteors just rushing through.
That's right.
That did a lot of damage. You rolled like what, 5d20 or something?
5d20,
That's a potential of 100 damage. Like that's serious.
Your analogy is perfect, Eric. It was like sudden death in Super Smash Brothers, where like everything is like
everybody's at
just
300%.
launching-
and
everyone's
just
at 300%.
one hit. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's what did a lot of damage right at the end too.
Yeah.
Meteors coming through.
If you guys are curious, I did fudge numbers a little bit. Ramael lived about 2 or 3 turns longer than he should have.
Once he start dealing that, before the max damage or during that one?
During the next damage.
Okay, because I was like, at some point when Raymond's doing like 70 damage and all that,
Raymond did
like holy
70.
shit.
I think he was already in the negatives when Raymond hit him. But
Bosses
I
have
wanted
just
him to have one more
timers, not
turn.
real hit
I
points.
wanted him to have one more turn
Yeah.
where he got to swing his swords and he does max damage.
Mm.
And then after his turn, it was immediately Scarlet. And I was like, all right, this is fine.
He's been around.
Scarlet finishing it is fine. I did not fudge rolls or fudge anything on Nearthon though. You guys did the right.
Yeah, I was the only one attacking her for the
Including-
longest time.
I mean, oddly, you guys basically split the fight.
Yeah.
You and Tim went.
Well,
after
I was
Nearthon,
kept like,
the
okay,
other three
she's
went
got
after
the
Ramael.
staff. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to roleplay and be like, oh, he's gonna go after the
Yes.
demon. But she's also got the staff and she's the spellcaster. Like, we need to rush her. And you all fuckers went after the fucking tanky angel. I was like, at least get Scarlet over there. She's got like her extra radiant damage and all that. Like, no, she's gonna fight the angel. Okay.
Yep. Thematically, I think it worked great. She
Yeah.
had to kill the angel to
Yeah.
like defeat, win the fight. But efficiently, no, that was not the most efficient use of her time for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the very first map we got bottlenecked.
That's true.
and
Yeah.
I think at that point we were like, okay, we're just engaged with it now.
Right.
You
We're
know,
here now. This is our
We're just
life.
gonna fight him.
an attack opportunity if we go away from him. So they both had to die.
Right.
Misty stepped away. Otherwise, you know, same.
Yeah.
My last Misty Step too was to go forward.
Yep.
All I had going in, I had my 2 4th level spell slots and some 1st and 2nd levels. I had one. I think I only had 1 2nd level, so I think I did my Misty Step. I used Hellish Rebuke, and then all I had were my 2 4th level spell slots, and both of them I used for counter spells, which failed.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the whole time, so I did have some. Like, almost all my spells were used in reactions, and then the whole time I was just unloading on the demon with the crossbow.
Yep.
Oh, I did get the
Somebody-
Twisted Caverns thing because I became enlarged.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So I didn't
Yeah,
get the
so it was
I think
just
I
helpful to
didn't,
you.
I didn't get the Beholder Ray, but I did get the Twisted Caverns. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Garchomp Ass is I guess Irathon and an actual official stat block or something you created. Oh yeah, handout.
She is an.
Dude.
I saw that. And I was trying to look it up real quick. She is a real stat block that's not Irathon. It's some other Tautavilius Scribe of Hell out of Tomb of Beasts is the base sheet that I used to build Irathon. And by the way, this was supposed to be a deadly encounter for 5 level 20 creatures.
You know,
But it doesn't make any sense. I mean, those rules don't make any sense.
those rules just don't make any sense. Yeah, they really don't.
Because Tutavilius, Scribe of Hell, is a level or a CR 24, and a
Wow.
Solar, which is what Ramael was, is a CR 21.
Which means, in theory, one of those should have been enough for a full party of us,
That's right.
like fully rested. But obviously, those
in
the action
practice,
economy, like
of
none of that
course not.
works. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're right. As you go higher up in level, like those laws fall apart pretty quick.
Yep.
But I've learned that 5e's creatures are generally undertuned for what they should be.
Yeah. You know, the one problem I had in this fight is finding things for Irathon to do after a little bit. Because her spell sheet is not, I mean, I thought it was okay, but some of them just, I was like, all
You had
right,
Eye
I guess
Bite, you had Finger of Death.
Finger of Death, Maddening Darkness, which you guys just basically canceled with
Yeah.
fucking level 20 Paladins are no joke.
Dude, Paladins are
that-
amazing in general. Like that
aura
fucking
of
30
saving throws.
Yeah.
That saved you guys.
That's not even
asses a
20. That's I
couple-
think it's like a 15 or
That's
something where it
true.
extends her
Yeah.
R to 30 feet. And yeah, how many times did we get that +3 and be like, oh, we saved?
Yeah.
Like that's amazing. And you don't have to do
Yep.
anything for that. It's not a reaction. It's just always on.
Yeah.
She gets all these always on buffs. It was somebody in the chat said like, oh man, Paladins are so great. I just did a DM's Guild review that I recorded today. That's a Paladin subclass where my opening spiel was like, Paladins are great. Extremely powerful. We lose the Discord. Uh-oh. Am I still streaming? I think I'm talking to myself. Hello?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm
Are we
back.
there? Okay.
I
Goodness.
was watching the stream, like, all right.
Everybody
I
was
don't know if
frozen
I'm
for a
on
second. I was
my
like, did I lose my internet or did Discord just
I
freak
lost
out for a
mine, I
second?
think, because your stream is still going.
Okay. I think
You
we're
go
gonna
for
be
it on
we're gonna be
mine.
frozen for a second. Hopefully it comes back.
Okay.
All right, I think we're okay. We're back. That's so excited.
Yes.
But yeah, paladins are awesome.
The Paladins are awesome.
Yeah, they
They're
can
just-
tank.
they're
They can do the
really-
divine smites as damage. Like it's
Yeah.
it's the whole package.
Yep. Yes, all those early crits were a definite huge boon for them for sure.
Yeah,
How many crits happened tonight? Too many.
I think only 3 that I remember.
Oh really?
Yeah,
It felt like a
Three.
bunch.
They were
Okay.
just 2 back. They were all kind of in the same space.
Okay.
I feel like.
Yeah.
If you exclude the like saves and stuff, I think it was just 3.
That's
for
true.
attack.
We got a
Oh.
lot of good saves, and then Chris had at least 2 crit fails.
Yes.
Both of them with
I didn't have any crit hits.
hell.
That would have been great.
No, yeah, that's true.
On Ramael, that would have been fucking amazing. A crit with
Oh
that
god, the
sword
2,
would have been
damage,
close to 100 damage in one hit.
painful.
Yeah.
So maybe if we had started the fight right, like literally at the start of the session, then maybe we could have gone through more of them and taken a little bit longer.
Yeah, you would have seen more of them.
I don't remember how that worked out with Tomb. If we leveled up then, or if we I'd have to go back and watch.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I
Either.
do remember it taking like the last couple sessions of Tomb ended up going way over just because.
But I'll say this though too. I wasn't only skipping them for time. I was also skipping them because I was watching the health bar of my bosses.
That's true. Yeah.
And you guys were knocking them down at a pretty steady
Yeah.
rate.
Like
And
how
was
much can I
all right.
fudge? And like, all right, you've done so
like
much
the
damage.
the bosses did not have enough health for all 7 of those planes. in
That's true.
existence.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, we never actually went down either. Like it was,
Nope.
like I said, you spread it around.
I could have. Yeah, I spread it around. I could have tried to focus somebody, but I don't know. Yeah, you know, like I don't know.
It's a
What's the
tricky balance
Yeah.
because players can feel shit upon, and obviously no one wants to sit there and not do anything. But it's tricky because you also don't want to necessarily like completely cheat in their favor and be like, all right, we'll attack somebody else, even though I definitely could have downed you there. Although
Right.
I'm sure I'm guilty of that too. You can watch the tapes and be like, oh, Eric, you could have killed these 2 people. Like, yeah, probably.
Right.
It's just a judgment call you have to make, like during the
And
battle.
my logic is a little bit like, okay, they're trying to defend themselves from all of these people, and they don't
Yeah.
necessarily. I'm not sure that everybody would necessarily know exactly how close everybody is to going down. You
Right.
know, like how many hit points each player has.
Yeah.
So Ramael is just swinging at everybody around him. That's sort of my logic. He's just
Yeah.
swinging. Irathon was more reactive. She was attacking whoever was like catching her eye or attacking her.
Yeah. That's true.
last. So that was sort of my logic with it. But yes, that resulted in we're spreading the damage around quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Logan, funny you should say that. I think you may see an artificer in Rhyme.
Yeah.
That's all I
May.
will say. That's all I will say. We are in the midst of planning all those characters out, and we are having active discussions about that, since obviously that is coming up. So I guess is that gonna be the end of chat?
You guys beat him.
Yeah.
You guys grabbed the staff. I honestly, that last bit with Tim was poorly worded on my part. As soon as I said the words, I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm not prepared for him to do something crazy." Where I was like, where I said like it's waiting for your intention.
Yeah, and
As
he
soon
leaned
as you
back,
said
and
that,
you start
all
getting,
four
you
of
start
you were
sweating
like,
bullets.
Ooh. I was like, wait, what? Oh shit! What
Thankfully,
did I just say?
Reese folded in at the end. He's like, "I'll do."
No,
the
I
same thing.
actually loved what Reese did at the end. That's like, okay, he hasn't used his divine intervention yet.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
So he's like, I'm gonna use my divine intervention to figure out what I should do here. I was like,
Yeah.
awesome, that's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
I will let your leech god direct you into,
Yep.
reforming the realms with the staff in your hand. That's great.
That was great. Good use of it.
Yep. And then you guys are back, and you don't know exactly what happens next. I mean, the adventure's over, but
Yeah. That's good timing though, because that's what we do with our next session. Is we do it's the epilogue and recap
That's right.
session where the DM can say, here's the falling action, here's the credit sequence with the pictures and all
Mhm.
that, and how you got home and what happening, and then on top of that, we also just go over the session and just kind of you can show people the maps and be like, okay, here's what happened here, here's what happened here.
Yep.
Kind of like a montage thing. We all just kind of chat and have a big kind of just like an after party thing.
exactly.
And then I'm going to try to add, because at one point in Tomb, I think we did this for a certain milestone where we did giveaways and I had trivia questions about the campaign. So I'm going to try to plan on doing that same thing for Friday and really turn it into like a fun little party thing.
Yeah.
Proper end.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty good.
yeah, absolutely awesome campaign. Really fun final boss fight. Just so much fucking cool like narrative and like cinematic feeling to it that I really dug. And yeah, level 20 characters are insane.
Yep, it's all craziness. You
I don't
can
know
go as
when we'll
crazy as you want because it's all out there.
It's all out there. I don't know when we'll see that again. I can go ahead and guarantee
Yeah.
we will not be seeing level 20 in Rhyme.
Not anytime soon.
I will say I'm expanding the level range of my campaign, but not into the stratosphere that we approached here.
I will say this. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing tier 3 and tier 4 D&D. I like tier 3 a lot more than I like tier 4.
Yeah.
In terms of just it gets to be too much at tier 4.
Yeah.
Like players have too much to keep track of. You have too much to keep track of as a DM.
Yeah.
I feel like in my mind, I'm thinking probably 16 is probably about as high as I'd ever
Which
go.
I think is
like,
I think tier 4 is literally either 16 or 17 to 20. So I think that is
Yeah.
tier 3. Yeah.
yeah. But I do very much have enjoyed this experiment in high level D&D
Yeah.
and getting to
I
go
did too.
crazy
It
with
was a really good chance to do it. I'm glad you did it, not me, because I would have been intimidated as hell to try to pull this together, and you did a phenomenal job creating a purely high level campaign that was worthy of the need for high level characters. All right, and thank you to Jeff, Nathan, Garchomp, Logan, Random Equinox, all of you for watching. We had a ton of people watching the final stream. That was really, really fun and enjoyable. And yeah, as already talked about, the next week's epilogue session should be a big party. That'll be fun. And then we're gonna roll right into session 0 because I have been chomping at the bit to start Icewind Dale, which I announced months ago, last year. But with session 0 is when we'll be formally introducing our characters to all of you, I believe. Although if you watch my crafting streams, you'll probably learn about them sooner than that, because I will have to prep for that. Because as much as I've prepped right now, obviously I haven't done any of the prep for your characters, because I haven't done any of that. So that's going to be a lot of the pre-campaign prep that I will have to do.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric, and thank you everybody in the chat. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Sure. All right, that will do it for this extremely late night edition of
It's
chat.
real late.
Yeah, it's 1:15 here. We usually stop about an hour ago for chat, but so is befitting of the finale. And this
That's
is the
right, exactly.
this is the final chat, because next week will just be, you know, obviously like an expanded version of chat with all the players. So we're not doing a chat then. We will be doing a chat for Icewind Dale though. So you'll have my crafting streams Thursday. We'll have the D&D stream Friday, and then the post session chats on Friday night. So.
Or Raymond and I will get to ask the questions.
That's right. All right. So thank you all. Thank you to DM Chris. Amazing campaign. Thank you so much. Player Raymond. I am Eric. Thank you to all the wonderful fans for watching. See you all next week for the after party.